What do you call over age?
I would call 90 days over age. I'm still in that old mindset of 90 days. I looked at my stock turn there in January and it was 41. So it was. So I was very impressed with that because I've sort of, this last few months, I've really been putting a focus on stock turn. So when I'm looking at my stock list now, I'm sort of going down to maybe 60 days to see, look, does this need altered in price or whatever? But I still have that old mindset of 90 days, but I'm still actively trying to sell them before they hit 90 days.
So is your policy to sort of keep reducing it, sort of 60 days, drop it down a bit again, or is it a case of 90 days that you trade it, it's got to go at whatever it fetches?
I no, I wouldn't trade it. I did trade a van last week and blew an absolute fortune on it. A 2022 Vivaro with 26,000 mile on it. To me, a mint van, and again, I just could not sell it. And a guy was looking for one, and I went, yeah, do you know something? Take it with you. And I just like, should I kept that or not? But it was in stock far too long. I was fed up looking at it and going, nah, do you know something? That has
Was
to.
it prepped? Is all your stock fully prepped? Because it's really hard to trade a car if you've fully prepped it, isn't it?
I don't really trade stuff, but for that reason, we bring them in, we do the dents, we do the alloys, we have them serviced. So you've already so much cost against the car. I don't do an awful lot of trading. But that just was a van that seemed to have stuck with me for whatever reason. It was metallic grey, it wasn't a white van. To me, it had everything going for it, but I just could not shift it. And I was fed up looking at it, went, right, that guy needs it. Let just get rid of it and go and buy new stock.
Do you only ever advertise stuff when it's 100% prepped? Does it just, or
No.
will you photograph as soon as it comes in and say up for sale?
Yeah, as soon as I buy something, I'll put it on the website with a wee coming soon logo. What happened then last year was the website, because we were quite busy, was just full of coming soons. And I went, right, we need to change this. So now we do it whenever the car arrives in off the transporter, because obviously most of my stock comes from the mainland. The lorry will come in, the balloting guys will just get a team together and go, right, let's wash and hoover this car straight into the photo booth and do what we call waiting prep photographs. So it's literally just a couple of images of the outside of the car and inside of the car. Doesn't look particularly great, but at least it's not a coming soon logo. So the coming soon logos haven't arrived on yet. Then the average sort of photographs at least let somebody see what the car's like. Now we do sell cars from that. See you've got a black Tiguan coming in. Yeah, it's here and you can see it. So we try and do that. So we do rather than just having all these coming soon logos coming on.
What's the average cost to get a car over there, Malcolm?
Depends where it's coming from, but if you're asking for an average, it's about £350, £400 plus VAT.
Being very nosy now, what percentage do you sell back over here then? Would you say?
There's a few. I would say we do probably 2 or 3 a month.
Right, okay.
Back across the water. It's not a massive business. The same as the Southern Ireland business. We used to sell a lot of cars to the south, but then Brexit ruined that.
Yeah.
So we're always sort of doing 2 or 3 out of Northern Ireland every month. So we are.
And do you find those customers coming over actually to pick the cars up, or have you got to just pay to get it sort of shipped over and they just collect from the docks, or what happens to those customers?
We ship it right to their door, so we do. So that the transport company that brings the cars from the mainland to us, they take them back out again, and they're very good. That we've worked with them for a lot of years, and the guys who are selling the cars here do walk around videos with the customers and let them see every wee mark that's on the car, that whenever it gets to them, they're not disappointed with it, so they know exactly what they're buying. And the transport guide will come and pick it up from us, deliver it right to their door, and the customer's happy.
And will you charge the customer for that delivery service, or trying to absorb that?
Yeah, we do. We absorb a bit of it, so we have a cheap delivery cost advertised, and just to at least think, oh, that's not that bad to get that car delivered. So we absorb some of it, but we don't move in prices. Our strategy has always been we don't move in prices anyway. But for something that you're selling back across the water, we have to absorb a couple of £100 just to.
Well, it's good to get it delivered to the doorstep, and it saves the hassle. The same thing. It is like forget the water. We'll get it to your doorstep. That's a good benefit, isn't it? Really? Yeah.
Yeah. It just means you've no barriers between them. If they want to buy the car, they can see who we are. They can see our reviews. They can see around the car. The sales guys put their face in front of the video and say, "Look, hi, the Card's a great guy at doing that. There, hi, I'm Card. Here's the Mercedes CLA you were looking at," and you walk them around the car so they get a proper feel for it before they even put a deposit on it.
If they want to send it back there, who pays to get it back again?
So far that hasn't happened, so let's just keep it.
Has it not?
No.
Right, okay.
No, we do make it very clear, because you obviously could have that hassle. We just say, look, this is the car, this is the video. We are showing you there is a stone chip on the bonnet. We are showing you the wee mark on the wheel. So whenever it comes, you can't say, oh, well, you didn't tell me about that there. We have told you everything about that car. So there's never an issue, and they're always going on leaving great reviews. Yeah, bought a car, didn't see it, and it's great, so.
Going back to what we were saying a minute ago, you were saying you don't really trade cars out. So when they get to 90 days, what do you do with them?
Just keep reducing in price.
Right, okay. So you just start hitting the price after 90 days. Right,
Well,
okay.
probably after 60 days, I'll start hitting prices. It'll maybe get to 90 days and go, right, some cost price, let's go, get it away, get your money back in and go again.
That was going to be my exact same question, and ask, does that work every time? Because I know there's some cars I've got, and you can't give them away. And you've got to send them to auction and just absolutely just get kicked right in the nuts.
Well, that van is a perfect example. I reduced the price. I probably paid too much for it at the time. I had a lot of vans and thought, yeah, this is great. It's low mileage. It's 3-year-old, 2-year-old at that time. Let's get it bought. But you keep reducing, and they say that van was just, no, that needs to go. So that was a one-off situation for me. But normally reducing the prices does work, and it gets the person in. And then you look at the website and go, or we have used cars NI over here, like your guy's Auto Trader. And you go, this car's so cheap, why is it not selling? Then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 people looking at it, somebody buys, like it happened this week, as you were saying there, James, a black 2019 Golf. Again, you thought it had been a really good seller, sat a wee while, reduced it in price. A guy phoned last week and says, yeah, I'm coming Monday to see that car, I'm coming Monday. And somebody walked in Monday morning and bought it, and he was absolutely raging. And he was like, we're here to sell cars, we can't hold cars for people, so whoever comes first and puts money in their hand buys the car.
Yeah. Seems to be a hard thing for people to understand that, doesn't it? Well, I guess it's just human nature, isn't it? They want all the cards on their side of the table, don't they? They want to be able to hold the car for an unlimited period of time and then come and pull it apart and then chip you on the price and not commit to it. But then if you, God forbid, you sell it to someone who just walks on and says, I'll give you the money, then you're a terrible person.
We get asked that all the time, how much is it to hold that car? And we're just like, no, sorry, we don't hold cars.
Now, that's an interesting one. So you don't take a deposit to hold a car?
No, I will make it very clear to the customer and to the sales guys, make it to the customer, we will only take a deposit if you're committing to buy this car. If you can't come...
See, I'm 100% with you on that. I don't see the point in deposits unless... What's the point in taking a deposit off someone that's refundable?
Yeah, but you can lose that sale. Somebody could come in, this is Monday, and you're coming in Thursday, and somebody wants to, I'm sorry, I've got a holding deposit in that car. Well, I'm here to buy the car now. Well, okay then, let's sell you the car.
Yeah, because they'll think nothing of cancelling come Thursday when they were supposed to come in.
Yeah,
and you've turned down 3 or 4 sales in between.
Yeah, exactly. Was it who was listening to your guys' podcast the other day? Was it Sheik or Scott or something? And it was like they've now employed somebody to look after their deposits. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, Sheik said that. Yeah.
And I was just like, really? That must be an absolute nightmare of people coming in. No, I don't like that. There's a mark on that wheel. I'm not buying that car. Okay, well, there's your £99 deposit back. I just could not be bothered with it. It's like, if you want to buy the car, yeah, no problem, we'll sell you the car, but it's £500, it's non-refundable, and that's you committing to buy the car.
I mean, I do full refundable deposits, but very, very, very rare I've had to give money back, on a deposit. It's a case of it's fully refundable if the car is not as described. That's what I will say to them, because they've seen the video, they've seen 80, 90, 100 images, whatever, the description's all there. So as far as I'm concerned, they are committed to it. If the car is not as described, and I also make a point of saying, don't ring up tomorrow and say you want to cancel, because then you won't be getting your money back because you've not inspected the vehicle.
Yeah.
So it's a case of refundable as long as the car is, what I've described to you. So I do, and again, I won't take a deposit. And people have asked me, well, what happens if I change your mind? I don't want your money. Please do not reserve my car on the website or ring me with a deposit, because I don't want it. Thanks very much, but what's the point?
Exactly that. If they're asking that question, there's someone who shouldn't be leaving a deposit on a car.
Yeah. Well, I had a couple of weeks ago. I bought an A-Class Merc, and they'd been down, test driven it, and they said, well, if we leave a deposit, is it refundable? And I said, well, why would you leave a deposit and ask about refundable? Well, if we just change our mind. I said, if you give me a deposit, I won't give you a penny back. I said, it's simple as £250 deposit. The car goes off sale. You've bought it. I said, if you decide to change your mind tomorrow, you've lost it, because you've seen the car, you've inspected it, you've driven it, you're happy with the car. And if you change your mind, I might lose another potential customer. And I said, yeah, we actually agree with you. And to be honest, I've actually bought the car and give me a grand deposit anyway. So, but there we go.
Well, believe it or not, so I put a video out on a Volvo XC70 I bought the other day. I'll probably scare the life out of you guys. 2007, I want to say, with 85,000 miles on. Set the phone alight. People wanted to leave deposit. I said, the car's not ready yet. I won't take a deposit. I said, I'll create a list, and it's going to be like first come, first served off list. Once the car is ready, I'll ring you and see if you want to put the deposit down, you want the car or not. Because I made a mistake early on, especially with the YouTube channel, where if someone saw a car that wasn't prepped yet on the channel and wanted it, and you took a deposit, all you do is get bombarded with, is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? And I don't want that pressure on me. It'll be ready when it's ready. And when it's ready, then I'll start to let people know whether they can have a deposit or not. And that's a mistake I learned early on, and I no longer do it at all. I'll say, no, I'm not going to take a deposit of anyone. When the car's ready, I'll ring you back, and I'll work my way down the list. And if you're not ready to go, then I'll go to the next person, and I'll go to the next person. You wouldn't think a 2007 XC70 would be so popular, but it
price range tow car is ideal, I would have thought. Yeah.
But yeah, we make it a point, if someone phones up and they're interested in a car and they want to book a viewing, we've made a real point of being like, just so you're aware, this isn't a sales technique, but there's a fair chance someone will walk in, they want to buy that car, so we'll be giving you a phone call back to say that it's no longer for sale. And it almost like fills my heart with like pride, because Jason, our salesman, when I hear him saying, look, to be honest, I don't want to take a deposit from you. You know, if you're not coming for a week, and you know, we're not going to do a deposit because it's a week where it couldn't sell. You know, if you can come in sooner, great. If not, then there's no benefit. What I don't understand is people who then think they're giving you a deposit, 200 quid or whatever it is, and you're like, well, why? What was the point of the thing? He's like, well, you've had our money. It's like, you really think when we're selling a 20 grand car and we've got £500,000 worth of cars on the forecourt, your 200 quid's giving me that much benefit the last week?
Yeah.
It's changed my life. It's helped me so much. Of course it hasn't. It's just sat there in the account doing nothing.